Governor Jindal, you did catch heat for talking about no-go zones. Mark Stein was just on the show with me before you came on. He referenced areas in the East End on Commercial Road. He talked about the so-called Islamic Republic of Tower Hamlets. He talked about Canadian Jews being stoned on Holocaust Memorial Day. He talked about neighborhoods in Birmingham. And then he talked about specific neighborhoods in Sweden and France. What was the intent of the reporter, do you think, in going after you for, a tube stop name?
Well, look, here's the reality. The left wants to pretend like this problem doesn't exist. And you hear it every day from real-life people in the UK and in France. You've had a local police chief there. CNN itself had documented this. You've got Ambassador Bolton has documented dozens of supporting evidence and examples of this. It's not a mystery to people who live in those countries. There absolutely are neighborhoods where women are afraid to go without veils, where the police are less likely to go, where some populations are trying to impose Sharia law. You've got some populations who don't want to integrate, don't want to assimilate, want to create their own culture, overtake our culture. The left has a problem with this. Out of political correctness, I really believe they don't want to promote our Judeo-Christian heritage. They don't want to promote American exceptionalism. They think it's cultural arrogance. They think it's somehow insensitive. They think somehow that this is politically incorrect to point out these obvious truths. They don't like America as a melting pot. I think that's nonsense.
So you standing by your no-go zone comments?
Absolutely. And I think that what's dangerous is if we don't insist on assimilation, we're going to see, we don't have them yet, but we're going to see no-go zones. We are likely to see them in America just like you have them in Europe. If we don't insist on assimilation, if we don't insist on saying to people, if you want to come to America, come to be Americans, you have to embrace our values. That means freedom of self-expression, self-determination, freedom of religious liberty, freedom of speech. We're a majority Christian nation, Hugh, but we don't insist on anybody becoming a Christian. There's no discrimination if you're not, but you do have to absorb and respect our values. Here's what we need to do. We need to insist on English as the official language. We need to insist on teaching our kids in civics and school about American exceptionalism and our Judeo-Christian values. And we need to insist, I think we need to stop all this hyphenated Americans, these African Americans, Indian Americans, Irish Americans. We're all Americans. And we need to say once and for all, we're not going to have folks come into our country unless they want to be Americans.